welcome. Yep. Alright, how's everyone been? Welcome. We're... Hi, fan. Hello, fan, what's up? Welcome. We are about to continue with, our art challenge. We finished up our flat colors and hopefully, I want to doing good. And how about you? I want to do is, get some shading in. I realized, ooh, what's again? The blending tool I use kind of makes it look like watercolor. Maybe because the base is watercolor itself. Oh, yeah. The base of the blending tool is actually a watercolor pen. Alright. Okay, so we got a very good pace so far. As for this one, kind of want to make it look like a hologram-ish kind of thing going on. With a shield. Other than that, the props I'm gonna use. Oh, I forgot. What I want to do is I can't blend. I can teach you how to do. I'm more of digital art right nowadays. So as for traditional art, if you want to get into watercolors for blending, maybe, but for blending in or traditional art like markers and stuff like that. Let's go with markers. See, for blending with markers, what you want to do is find at least 3 shades of the same color that's closely resembling each other and slowly draw over the have a line, like a line, cutoff line for each 3 colors. No render. Oh, are you talking about Blender? Because I can't do that yet. Hi, Wolfie. But little fan, you could be blending these nuts. So I had to. I had to. But yeah, I completely forgot before we started shadows, like mainline art or props. One do is weapon her ability is to basically hack or technology or control technokinesis basically. So probably what I want to do is like a gradient. Or maybe, okay. I'll be popping in and out. Yeah, I understand. Probably technology in its form of I don't know, Tetris kind of thing. Something to actually convey that she controls technology. Damn, you got me in 1 year, not anywhere else. I love you're so brain rotted. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. I love being brain rotted. I should do probably Alright, something like that. And then I go to flat colors. I should start the video. Oh fuck. Let me put this under. There we go. Thank you. Move this over. Thank you. So I can use the actual clamp now. Alright. Flat color props. And there is probably bucket. Shadow / shading. Props. What I want to do for here is like this. Undo is some sort of line here. Having to, okay, hear me out. This, and then let's start the video. Spies on a cutie. Oh. I guess I'm a little cute.
Wolfgang von Trips. In September 1961, the Italian
How are you?
Grand Prix at
How are you,
Monza drew the
Gracie?
elite of Formula One racing. Among them was Count Wolfgang von Trips, a German nobleman whose aristocratic background seemed at odds with the dangerous world of motor racing. Von Trips was just 2 races away from securing the world championship for Ferrari, a position that had put him at the center of attention that weekend. On lap 2 of the race, von Trips' Ferrari was traveling at over 150 miles per hour on the approach to the Parabolica curve. Alongside him was Jim Clark's Lotus. In a split second, their wheels touched. The contact was minimal, but at such speeds it was disastrous. Von Trips' Ferrari became instantly unstable. The car pitched sideways, then became airborne. Like a missile without guidance, the Ferrari sailed toward the spectator area, where fans stood watching behind a low fence. They had no time to react. The car slammed into the crowd and fence with savage force. Metal twisted and shredded. The impact threw Von Trips from his cockpit, his body tumbling across the ground like a rag doll. His helmet tore off. His unprotected head struck the track surface repeatedly. Witnesses described a scene of chaos and horror. Blood stained the grass.
Ooh, I kind of like this.
Dead or dying, their bodies broken by the impact,
kind of like bleeding,
or sliced by its metal components. Emergency services were overwhelmed by the scale of the disaster. Von Trips himself lay motionless on the track. His neck had been broken in the violent ejection from the car. He had died instantly upon impact with the ground, his body still warm as officials reached him. The race continued despite the tragedy. As cars roared past the accident scene, officials covered Von Trips' body with a tarpaulin. The Germans' championship dreams ended there on the Monza asphalt. His life cut short at 33, and his title hopes handed to his teammate Phil Hill, who became world champion that day. Ayrton Senna. On May 1st, 1994, the San Marino Grand Prix at Imola was under a dark cloud. Just one day earlier, Austrian driver Roland Ratzenberger had died during qualifying. Despite this, Ayrton Senna, the 3-time world champion and arguably the greatest Formula One driver in history, took his place on the starting grid. His Williams car sat in pole position, a familiar spot for the Brazilian master. The race began, and Senna pulled away as expected. On the 7th lap, his car entered the high-speed Tamburello corner at approximately 190 miles per hour. What happened next would be scrutinized for years to come. The Williams suddenly veered off course, continuing straight where the track curve left. In the final seconds, telemetry showed Senna desperately trying to slow the car. He managed to reduce his speed to about 135 miles per hour before impact, but it wasn't enough. The Williams slammed into the concrete barrier at an angle that proved fatal. Upon impact, a piece of the suspension broke free. Like a javelin, it pierced through the carbon fiber helmet and into Senna's head. The right front tire and suspension assembly were driven back into the cockpit, striking his helmet with
I kind of like this.
Blood pooled inside his helmet immediately. When medical teams reached him, Senna was still sitting in his car, motionless but alive. His head tilted slightly, blood seeping from underneath his visor. Track doctors performed an emergency tracheotomy at the scene, knowing every second was critical. The helicopter waited to transport him to
He was a good girl.
What? I'm a good girl.
Devastating injuries. At 6:40 p.m., doctors announced what millions feared.
Oh no.
Was dead. Brazil
Okay, let me...
3 days of national mourning. An estimated 3 million people lined the streets of Sao Paulo.
I completely forgot to do.
The driver who had seemed invincible on track was gone at 34, his legend immortalized in that final fatal moment at Chapelolo. Roland Ratzenberger. On April 30th, 1994, the qualifying session for the San Marino Grand Prix was underway at Imola. Roland Ratzenberger, an Austrian driver competing in only his third Formula One race, was pushing hard in his Simtek Ford. At 34, Ratzenberger was older than most rookies, having worked his way up through the ranks of motorsport with determination and relative fanfare. During his fast lap, Ratzenberger's car struck a curb at the 𝙂𝙚 𝙤𝙤 chicane. The impact damaged his front wing, but instead of returning to the pits, he continued his qualifying run. Engineers watching from the pit wall could see the wing wobbling precariously as the car sped down the straight. As he approached the Villeneuve curve at 190 miles per hour, the compromised carbon fiber wing finally failed. In an instant, it folded under the car, eliminating all downforce and rendering the Simtek uncontrollable. Ratzenberger was now merely a passenger in a missile.
I almost lost my phone.
Veered sharply to the right.
What happened?
Recorded a momentary desperate correction on the steering wheel before impact. It was futile. The Simtek slammed into the concrete wall at barely diminished speed. The impact was so violent that Ratzenberger's head snapped forward against the cockpit, causing a basilar skull fracture. The safety harness that kept him in the car became the mechanism of fatal injury as his body stayed fixed, while his head moved forward.
I just realized she had...
Ratzenberger was motionless.
Wait, what?
His head tilted at an unnatural angle. Medical teams worked frantically.
I just realized she had Twitch mute. Huh? Desktop audio is good. Microphone is good. I don't know what's going on. Everything is good. Let me double check. Stream. Make sure its stream is good. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Stream's good. Alright, just making sure stream is good. Alright. Snipples.
Removing him from the wreckage
Snipper.
CPR. A helicopter was nearby to evacuate him to Hospital in Bologna. Despite their efforts, Ratzenberger was pronounced dead on arrival. The official cause was listed as a basilar skull fracture, an injury that would later lead to mandatory head and neck support devices in motorsport. His death, though soon overshadowed by Senna's the following day, marked the first fatality in a Grand Prix weekend in 12 years. Tom Price. On March 5th, 1977, the South African Grand Prix was underway at 𝙂𝙚. Tom Price, a talented Welsh driver for the Shadow team, was known for his natural speed and quiet determination. At 27, he was considered a future champion by many in the paddock, his career just beginning to flourish in the dangerous world of 1970s Formula One. On lap 22, Renzo Zorzi's car pulled off the track with a minor engine fire.
Stream is fine, sweetie. At least it seems so. It was okay.
The first made it.
I was worried.
Second, 19-year-old Frederik Jansen van Vuren was not so fortunate. As Price crested the rise after the main straight, he was traveling at approximately 170 miles per hour. The marshal suddenly appeared in front of him, crossing directly into his path. There was no time to react, no possibility of avoidance. The impact was devastating. The Shadow hit Van Vuren with such force that the marshal's body was thrown high into the air, landing hundreds of feet away. His body was so badly mutilated that officials initially could not identify which marshal it was. But the horror did not end there. The 40-pound fire extinguisher that Van Vuren had been carrying was struck by Price's car. It became a deadly projectile, flying directly into Price's face at relative speeds approaching 200 miles per hour. The extinguisher struck Price's helmet with devastating force, partially lifting his helmet and causing fatal injuries to his head. The impact was so severe that the full-face helmet offered no meaningful protection. Price's car continued down the straight, no longer controlled by its driver. With Price already dead at the wheel, the Shadow veered into Jacques Laffitte's 𝙤𝙤, before finally coming to rest. When officials reached the car, they found Price still strapped in the cockpit, his face unrecognizable from the impact. The race continued around the two covered bodies on and near the circuit, the red flag procedures of the era not deemed necessary for these deaths. Ronnie Peterson.
That's
on
fucked.
September 10th, 1970,
sorry, man, I could give you trouble later.
At Monza began in chaos.
Man, I could give you... What? That just made me a little bit excited. Chat. Shh.
Ronnie Peterson, the Swedish driver nicknamed Super Swede for his spectacular driving style, was in his Black Lotus starting from the grid's midfield.
Alright,
Tall, blonde, and
let's see
universally
here.
liked in the past,
Also, let's.
Peterson was one of Formula One's most popular.
I wasn't.
As the lights changed, a pack of powerful cars accelerated toward the first chicane. The narrow track couldn't accommodate the 24 cars fighting for position. James Hunt's McLaren veered slightly, touching another car. In an instant, what had been an orderly grid became a mass of spinning, colliding machinery. Peterson's Lotus was pushed into the barriers at high speed. The impact was violent, crushing the front of the car and trapping his legs in the twisted metal. Within seconds, the wreckage erupted in flames. Fuel from ruptured tanks ignited, surrounding Peterson in fire. Several drivers, including James Hunt, stopped and ran back to the burning Lotus. They pulled Peterson from the inferno before he suffered severe burns, but the damage to his legs was already done. Both were badly broken, with multiple compound fractures clearly visible as they laid him on the track surface. When medical crews arrived, Peterson was conscious and talking. His injuries, while serious, didn't appear life-threatening. He was transported to 𝙂𝙚 Hospital in Milan, where x-rays confirmed at least 27 fractures in his legs and feet. Doctors decided to operate immediately to stabilize the fractures. What no one realized was that bone marrow from the multiple fractures had already entered Peterson's bloodstream. During the night, he developed fat embolism syndrome. Tiny globules of fat began blocking small blood vessels in his lungs and brain. His breathing became labored. His organs started failing one by one as oxygen couldn't reach his tissues. By morning, Peterson was in critical condition. His wife, Barbara, rushed to his bedside but arrived too late. At 9:55 a.m. on September 11th, Ronnie Peterson died at age 34, not from burns or immediate trauma, but from the insidious internal damage that no one had detected in time. Jules Bianchi. On October 5th, 2014, the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka was being lapped.
This seems really cool.
Typhoon. The race had started under safety car conditions and visibility was poor. Jules Bianchi, a 25-year-old French driver for Marussia and a Ferrari Academy,
I like bloody Tetris
hard
pieces.
To earn team valuable championship points. By lap 43, the rain had intensified. Adrian Sudel-Sauber had already aquaplaned off the track at the Dunlop curve, hitting the tire barrier. A recovery crane had been dispatched.
Alright, let's try to do some shading.
As Bianchi approached the same corner, his car began to hydroplane on the wet surface. He lost control at approximately 134 miles per hour, sliding off at virtually the same point as Sudel had moments before. But unlike Sudel, Bianchi's trajectory took him directly toward the recovery vehicle. The Marussia slid beneath the rear of the 13-ton crane. There was no safety skirt to prevent such an intrusion. The impact sheared off the roll hoop of Bianchi's car and caused a deceleration measured at 254 G, among the highest ever recorded in motorsport.
Jesus fuck.
Bianchi's helmet struck the underside of the crane with tremendous force. Although the carbon fiber shell remained intact, the sudden deceleration caused devastating diffuse axonal injury to his brain. When medical teams reached him, he was unconscious, but breathing. Carefully extracted from the destroyed cockpit, Bianchi was transported by ambulance to 𝑚ee University Hospital. Neurosurgeons performed immediate emergency surgery to address the critical brain trauma, but the prognosis was grim from the start. Bianchi never regained consciousness. For 9 months, he remained in a coma, his family maintaining a constant vigil. Machines kept him breathing, while doctors repeatedly explained the irreversible nature of his brain injuries. On July 17, 2015, Jules Bianchi died at a hospital in Nice, France, still just 25 years old. He became the first driver to die from racing injuries in Formula One in 21 years, breaking a safety record that the sport had been proud of since Ayrton Senna's death. Jochen Rindt, on September 5th, 1970, qualifying for the Italian
Imagine the reps secretly blaming him for breaking the record, which would be fucking in half, of course.
At 28, he had finally secured a competitive
very much fucking in half indeed.
After years of struggle in less reliable machinery, Rindt was pushing hard during the session, determined to secure pole position despite concerns about his car's safety. The Lotus 72 was fast but fragile. Its designer Colin Chapman, infamous for building cars that were light, innovative, and often on the edge of structural integrity. As Rindt approached the Parabolica corner at approximately 75 miles per hour,
oh my god,
something went catastrophically wrong. Later investigation would reveal that a brake shaft had failed, causing a sudden and complete loss of braking power. In that split second, Rindt became a passenger in an uncontrollable machine. The Lotus veered sharply to the left, skidding across the track toward the guardrail. There was no runoff area in 1970, just a thin metal barrier between the track and the trees beyond. The Lotus slammed slammed underneath the guardrail at tremendous speed, the metal edge slicing through the front of the car like a knife. Rindt was wearing
Jesus
only a lap
Christ.
belt, having refused to use the available shoulder straps because they inhibited his movement in the cockpit. This decision proved fatal. As the car violently decelerated, Rindt's body continued forward. The impact forced him down in the cockpit, the edge of the steering wheel crushing his throat and chest against the lap belt. When track workers reached the scene, they found Rindt still alive but unconscious and gravely injured. His throat had been severely traumatized, cutting off his airway. Despite frantic efforts to save him, Jochen Rindt was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. The
Oh
season continued
shit.
without him, but no driver could overcome Rindt's points laid. 2 months later, he became Formula One's only posthumous world champion, his widow Nina collecting the trophy he would never hold. Francois. On October 6, 1973, the final qualifying session for the United States Grand Prix
that's
was
heartbreaking.
underway at Watkins Glen. Francois Sever, the handsome 29-year-old French driver for Tyrrell, was being groomed as the successor to his teammate and mentor Jackie Stewart. With his movie star looks and natural speed, Sever represented the future of Formula One, a rising star in a dangerous era. Stewart was set to retire after this race, his 100th Grand Prix, and had been teaching Sever everything he knew. The Frenchman was determined to show his readiness to lead the team with a strong qualifying performance that Saturday morning. As Sievert approached the challenging uphill S's section at approximately 150 miles per hour, his Tyrrell suddenly snapped to the right. What caused the initial loss of control would never be definitively determined. The car struck the right side guardrail with tremendous force, then ricocheted across the track into the left side barrier. The second impact was even more violent than the first. The Tyrrell hit at such an angle that it was launched into a terrifying series of rotations. The car began to disintegrate, parts scattering across the track as the monocoque twisted and contorted. The force was so extreme that the guardrail buckled, creating a gap that allowed the car to partially pass through. When the Tyrrell finally came to rest, it was nearly unrecognizable. The blue car had been torn apart, with Seivert still strapped inside what remained of the cockpit. The barriers
Jesus
through the wheel,
Christ.
effectively cutting it in two. Jackie Stewart, following behind on track, came upon the scene moments later. He immediately recognized the destroyed blue car and stopped. What he saw was so horrific that he would later refuse to describe it in detail. Seivert had suffered fatal injuries, his body partially dismembered by the metal barriers. Death had been instantaneous. Officials quickly covered the wreckage with a tarpaulin. The Tyrrell team immediately withdrew from the race, Jackie Stewart's illustrious career ending not with a final race, but with the death of his protege. Piers Courage. On June 21st, 1970, the Dutch Grand Prix was being held at the Zandvoort circuit. Piers Courage, a British driver from a wealthy brewing family, was piloting a De Tomaso car for the Frank Williams team. At 28, Courage was known for his aristocratic background and devil-may-care attitude, a throwback to the gentleman racers of an earlier era. By lap 23, Courage was pushing hard, the De Tomaso's Ford Cosworth engine howling as he navigated the circuit's flowing curves. As he approached the fast right-hander at Tunnel Oost, disaster struck. The suspension on his car suddenly failed, likely due to metal fatigue that had gone undetected. Without warning, the De Tomaso veered off the track at nearly 150 miles per hour. The car slammed into the soft sand that lined the circuit, digging in and beginning a violent series of rolls. With each impact, pieces of the car were torn away. One of the front wheels, still attached to its suspension assembly, was ripped off and sent flying. In a cruel twist of fate, this wheel and suspension unit came down directly on the cockpit area. The impact was violent, causing fatal head injuries to Courage instantly. But what followed made the scene even more horrific. The magnesium components of the De Tomaso's chassis, lightweight but highly flammable, ignited upon impact. Within seconds, the wreckage was engulfed in intense white-hot flames that burned at over 3,000 degrees. Magnesium fires cannot be extinguished by conventional means, and the heat was so intense that marshals could not approach. Inside the burning chassis, Courage's body was consumed by the inferno. The heat was so extreme that even his helmet melted in the blaze. Track workers stood helplessly by, unable to intervene as the fire burned with unstoppable ferocity.
Jesus.
When the flames finally subsided, leaving only a blackened chassis, medical officials were faced with the grim task of recovering what remained. The severity of the fire had made the scene nearly unrecognizable as a racing car. The race continued, with Jackie Stewart eventually taking victory, though his celebrations were notably subdued. Riccardo Paletti. On June 13, 1982, the Canadian Grand Prix was about to begin at Circuit 𝙂𝙬 in Montreal. Among the drivers on the grid was Riccardo Paletti, a 23-year-old Italian rookie competing in only his second Formula One race. Driving for the small Assetto team, Paletti was determined to make his mark in the sport after a difficult debut at the Monaco Grand Prix earlier that season. As the starter raised the green flag, Didier Pironi's Ferrari stalled on pole position. Yellow warning lights flashed. But in the days before sophisticated radio communications, many drivers at the back had no way of knowing about the stationary car ahead. The field began to navigate around the stranded Ferrari. But Paletti, starting from the back, had limited visibility. By the time he saw Peroni's car, it was too late. Paletti's Osella slammed into the back of the Ferrari at nearly 110 miles per hour.
Oh
the
no.
impact was so violent that the front of Paletti's car was completely crushed, driving the front suspension and engine back into the cockpit where Paletti sat strapped in. The young Italian was pinned in the wreckage, conscious but unable to move as his chest was crushed against the steering column. Rescue workers frantically tried to reach him, but their efforts were complicated when fuel began leaking from the ruptured tanks. Just 30 seconds after the initial impact, the spilled fuel ignited. Flames engulfed the wrecked Osella with Paletti still trapped inside. Peroni and several marshals fought the fire with extinguishers, temporarily keeping the flames at bay long enough for medical personnel to reach Paletti. When they finally extracted him from the burning wreckage, Paletti was still alive but barely breathing. His chest had been crushed on impact, causing massive internal injuries. He was immediately transported to
I
the
assumed
Royal
it would be
Victoria
that.
Hospital in Montreal, where doctors fought desperately to save him. Despite their best efforts, the trauma was too severe. Riccardo Paletti was pronounced dead shortly after arrival, having suffered fatal chest injuries from the initial impact rather than the subsequent fire. Mark Donoghue. On August 17, 1975, practice for the Austrian Grand Prix was underway at the Österreich-Ring. Mark Donoghue, an American racing driver known as Captain Nice for his analytical approach and engineering background, was behind the wheel of his Penske-owned March. At 38, he had already achieved success in numerous racing disciplines, from Can-Am to NASCAR, even winning the Indianapolis 500. As Donoghue approached a fast section of the circuit, a tire on his March suddenly failed. The car veered off the track at high speed, careening toward the barriers. In a desperate attempt to slow the car, Donoghue managed to steer away from the solid guardrail, instead crashing into a set of catch fencing and advertising hoardings. The impact wasn't particularly violent by Formula One standards. The car broke through the fencing and came to rest without the devastating damage typically seen in fatal accidents. Donoghue was able to extract himself from the car and stand on his own. He appeared shaken but largely unharmed, complaining only of a headache. Track medical staff examined him briefly at the scene and found no obvious injuries. The headache was dismissed as a likely result of the impact, something routine for racing drivers.
Internal decapitation.
Donoghue walked away from the crash, returning to his hotel to rest. During the night, his condition deteriorated rapidly. The headache intensified to unbearable levels.
Oh no.
Donoghue was vomiting and confused. Classic symptoms of what doctors would later identify as a cerebral hemorrhage. A seemingly
Cerebral
minor piece of
hemorrhage.
debris
Oh
struck his
shit.
helmet during the crash, causing bleeding inside his brain that was slowly building pressure. By the time he reached the hospital in Graz, Donoghue was slipping in and out of consciousness. Surgeons operated immediately to relieve the pressure on his brain, but the internal damage was too extensive. Mark Donoghue died 2 days after the accident without regaining consciousness, the delayed nature of his fatal injury leaving teammates and friends in shock. What had seemed like a minor incident had claimed one of racing's most respected figures through an invisible, creeping death. Patrick Depailler. On August 1st, 1980, the Hockenheimring in Germany was quiet except for the sound of a single Formula One car. Patrick Depailler, the 35-year-old French driver known for his flamboyant driving style and passion for motorcycles, was conducting a private test session for the Alfa Romeo team. The weekend's German Grand Prix was approaching, and Depailler was determined to improve the car's setup. The Hockenheim circuit of 1980 was a fearsome track with straights cut through dense forest. The most challenging section was the Ostkurve, a fast left-hand bend that required absolute precision and commitment. Drivers approached it at over 170 miles per hour with only thin barriers separating them from the trees beyond. At approximately 10:30 in the morning, Depailler was on his fourth lap of the day. As he entered the Ostkurve, something on the car failed completely. Later investigation suggested a suspension component had broken, though some speculated that a tire failure was to blame. Whatever the cause, the result was the same. The Alfa Romeo became instantly uncontrollable at maximum speed. The car snapped sideways, then became airborne. For a brief moment, the red machine flew through the air before slamming into the Armco barriers with devastating force. The impact was so violent that the car disintegrated, pieces scattering across the track and into the forest. The cockpit section, with Depailler still strapped inside, came to rest against the mangled barriers. There was no fire, but the damage to the car and driver had already been done. The impact forces had caused massive trauma to Depailler's body, crushing his chest and head. When track workers reached the wreckage, they found Depailler motionless. There was no need for medical intervention. The force of the crash had killed him instantly. His body remained in the twisted cockpit, his hands still gripping the steering wheel, a final testament to a racer who never lifted off the throttle. The irony was not lost on those who knew him. Depailler, a man who had survived countless motorcycle accidents and previously broken both legs in a hang gliding crash, had died while testing safety improvements to a car that ultimately could not save him. Helmut Koenig. On October 6, 1974, the United States Grand Prix was underway at Watkins Glen.
That kind of just scares me.
A 25-year-old Austrian rookie was driving the uncompetitive Surtees car in only his second Formula One race. Despite his limited experience at the sport's highest level, he had shown promise in a methodical approach to learning the difficult track. On the 10th lap, 𝙂𝙚𝙣 was navigating the challenging Watkins Glen circuit when disaster struck in the most mundane form. His right front tire suddenly deflated as he approached the sweeping right-hander at the end of the straight. Under normal circumstances, such a failure would lead to a controlled slide into the barriers, uncomfortable but rarely fatal. The car skidded off the track at approximately 140 miles per hour. 𝙂𝙚𝙣 braced for impact as the Surtees approached the guardrail. What should have been a simple barrier designed to absorb energy and protect drivers, instead became the instrument of his death. The bottom portion of the guardrail had been improperly installed. When 𝙂𝙚𝙣's car hit the barrier, instead of deflecting or crumpling as designed, the metal rail gave way at the bottom while remaining intact at the top. This created a deadly guillotine effect. The Surtees slid underneath the top portion of the guardrail with terrible precision. The metal edge of the barrier struck the cockpit exactly at 𝙂𝙚𝙣's eye level. In an instant, the top of his helmet and his head were severed cleanly from his body. When track marshals reached the scene seconds later, they were confronted with a horror beyond imagination. 𝙂𝙚𝙣's body remained strapped in the driving position, the safety harness having functioned perfectly to keep his torso in place. But where his head should have been, there was nothing. The race continued as 𝙂𝙚𝙣's covered body was removed from the track. The public announcement merely stated that the Austrian had been involved in an accident. If you want to see more videos like this, click the video.
Which basically, it's a cover saying, oh, we fucked up. We fucked up bad. It fucking pisses me off. Companies trying to do shortcuts left and right, ends up killing people, and then they have saying, oopsie. Bitch, your oopsie is gonna get you jail time, or at the very least, capital punishment. Hello? Alright, there it goes. Trying to check her face. Ooh. Alright. Alright. Here we go. Okay.
Our story begins inside of the Jedi Temple Communications Center as Jedi Master Mace Windu is standing alone as the rest of the Jedi like Yoda, Mundi, and Ayla have gone back to their missions. Mace has just sent Anakin to tell Palpatine that Obi-Wan has engaged Grievous, and Mace was now waiting for Kit Fisto, Agencolar, and Sazy-Tin to arrive here so they could go back down to the hangar together. Mace just decided that enough was enough. Whenever Anakin comes back, he and the others will go to Palpatine's office, and their mission will depend entirely on the information that Anakin brings back to them. But one thing was for certain, Mace and the Jedi will be removing Palpatine from office today. He has stretched this war on for far too long. He's ripped the Constitution to shreds. Billions are suffering in his war, and Mace could not bear to see the Republic fall apart like this any longer. How they remove him from office will be determined by what Anakin says. And as Mace stood alone in the dark room, he felt something in the Force as he thought about Anakin. He could feel him in the Force, and Mace closed his eyes, doing something that Yoda often told the Jedi to be wary of. Mace tried desperately to sense the future. He centered his thoughts on Anakin and Palpatine, and at this very moment, Anakin and Palpatine's emotions were both flowing heavily through the Force, as Palpatine revealed himself to be Darth Sidious. Anakin was angry, betrayed, conflicted, and he had a tinge of hope inside of him, knowing that Sidious may be able to save Padme. And Palpatine was putting all of his cards in Anakin's hands. This was his big move, after decades of planning and preparing. But as Mace thought about them, the currents of the Force surrounding all three of them finally showed Mace something. A vision. Mace Windu saw himself, deflecting heavy lightning from the Sith Lord, struggling mightily against it, but ultimately emerging victorious. Mace saw himself defeat the Dark Lord, holding his purple blade up to his face, but from the doorway, the shatter point to the entire galaxy, ran in. Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, the man who was always going to end up in this moment. And the next thing Mace saw would be Anakin choosing the dark side, cutting through flesh and bone, as Mace was thrown out into the darkness of Coruscant. Windu slowly opened his eyes to find Kit Fisto grabbing his shoulder, asking if he was alright. Mace looked around, remembered where he was, and he told Kit that yes, everything was more than alright. He has all the answers he needs. And Mace came up with a plan, and then he would send Fisto, Kolar, and Tin down to the hangar to wait. When Anakin arrives, tell him to come to the lower levels of the temple. Fisto nodded, and the three Jedi took off. As Mace moved through the temple, he was more focused than ever. He was refusing to let Anakin ruin everything. Mace never truly trusted this boy, and this vision only affirmed to him that he was right. And although part of Windu's mind was telling him that this was a warning of what happens if he doesn't trust Anakin, Mace wasn't going to be taking any risks. He would talk to Anakin after all of this is over. He would tell the boy why this decision had to be made. Mace would wait in the Jedi Temple prison block, pacing anxiously, a feeling he didn't often deal with, despite the vision showing him that Palpatine is a Sith Lord, and Anakin would be by his side. Mace knew Yoda's warnings. Actively trying to stop a Force vision from coming true could cause it to come true, but still, Mace believed he was strong enough. He believed he knew Anakin well enough to know that this was the only choice. And before much longer, Anakin ran down into the prison block, anxiously looking around for Windu. Mace would beckon to him, and as he looked at Anakin, he could tell that the boy was struggling with his emotions. Anakin told Mace that Palpatine is the Sith Lord they've been looking for. They need to go right now and arrest him. Mace nodded slowly, and he silently motioned for a temple guard to open one of the cells. The ray shield opened, and Mace quickly turned, using the Force to push Anakin backwards, just inside of this temple cell, and the ray shield was reactivated. It all happened so fast. Anakin just stared forward in disbelief, in fear, anger, and then with a look of pure betrayal and sadness. In a matter of seconds, Anakin realized that Palpatine was right about everything. The Jedi don't trust him, and they're going to go and take over the Republic for themselves. Anakin knew he made a mistake. He should have stayed with Palpatine. He was right about it all. Anakin thought about Padme, apologizing silently, saying he's made a terrible mistake. From outside the cell, Mace told Anakin that this is nothing more than a precaution. Palpatine told Anakin the truth about his nature for a reason. It's because he expects Anakin to join him. Mace told Anakin that they simply cannot afford that risk. It's not that he doesn't trust him, it's just that this is the right move, and he knows Anakin would do the same if he were in his position. Part of Mace actually expected Anakin to understand. That was foolish. The boy was being swallowed by his emotions. Palpatine knew this, and for a long time, Mace didn't know if Anakin would answer, or even if he could answer. It were as though the young Jedi
been cheating
with a monster
That's
hatching
good.
from within his chest. But in the Force, Mace could feel the monster inside of Anakin. It was real, and it was a monster made of fear. Of course, Mace remembered the very day that he met young Skywalker, a boy brought here from Tatooine, a boy who lived in slavery, a boy who only ever had his mother to rely upon until he was brought to the Jedi Temple. In that moment, Mace and Yoda felt the fear residing within Anakin. Qui-Gon thought that the Jedi could turn that fear into strength and hope, and for a while, perhaps he was right. Anakin was the hero of the Clone Wars, but it was now quite obvious to Windu that the Jedi were not the only ones who felt this fear. Clearly, Palpatine sensed it, and where the Jedi tried to teach Anakin to get rid of it, Palpatine worked tirelessly to turn that spark of fear into an eternal flame that now burns within Anakin's chest, begging to be let free. Finally, Anakin looked up at Windu, and he simply said that the Jedi will pay for their treason. Mace's expression darkened. He turned to the 4 temple guards in here, telling them to make sure Anakin stays put until he returns. And Mace took off to the temple hangar. As the LAAT gunship rose up with Mace and the 3 Jedi, Mace decided to use his comlink to contact Shaak Ti. Master T was in the meditation chamber, and Mace told her what was going on. He asked her to go be with Anakin. He needs her calming presence in this moment. Shaak Ti said it will be done, and Mace stared out of the viewport ahead as the executive building soon came into view. He was so disappointed in Anakin. When things were good, when Anakin seemed to be living like a real Jedi, Mace sometimes saw flashes of himself in the boy. Someone with so much power that is also so young. Mace went through it as well, and he learned to essentially turn off all of his emotions to become the best Jedi he could be. But he never had a Sith Lord twisting all of his words, stoking a fire within him. And Mace promised to himself that once this is over, he will help Anakin find the balance that Qui-Gon was always sure Anakin would help to bring. The gunship would land at the executive building, and Mace put Anakin in the back of his mind. He looked at Fisto, Tin, and Kolar, and told them it's time to do what must be done to ensure that the Sith can no longer rule. And in the Jedi Temple, Shaak Ti opened her eyes, ending her meditation, and she began walking down to the temple prison block. She wasn't sure exactly what she would be doing for Anakin, but she had been in council when he was denied mastery. She was also in council before Anakin arrived, when the council decided that Anakin would be spying on Palpatine. She knew he was dealing with a lot, and she got to the final hallway before the prison areas, but suddenly something was very off about all of this. Shaak Ti heard distant screaming, coughing, and as the doors to the prison area opened, 2 young Jedi Knights stumbled past her, crying out in pain, bleeding from the head. Shaak Ti grabbed one of them to ask what was going on, and a young boy said it was Skywalker. Horror filled Shaak Ti's body. She took off, sprinting through the hallway, and finally she reached the cells. She looked around to see a shattered pillar, cracked walls, bodies of 4 temple guards on the floor.
Oh no.
And the cell that Anakin was supposed to be inside was in ruins. Shaak Ti tried to contact Windu, but she got no answer. So she used her comlink to reach out to the Jedi in charge of security.
Oof.
In the
Yeah. Hey, when games give me trouble. Honestly, for me, it's the OBS. Actually, it doesn't like me playing certain games.
temple hangar, 𝙂𝙚, and she told him to watch out for Anakin. If he tries to leave the temple, then shut down the hangar. 𝙂𝙚, a young male Jedi, told Master T that it will be done. Shaak Ti couldn't believe Anakin would do this. She thought someone had to have come here and freed him. She could still feel the dark side lingering in this room, and she couldn't believe that Anakin was capable of this. Shaak Ti knelt down at the destroyed temple cell, placing her hand on it, using a power she was learning to master called psychometry. With this power, she could see a force echo or memory associated with an object just by touching it. T touched the ray shield panel and closed her eyes, and then she saw it. Shortly after Mace Windu left the area, Anakin's rage exploded outward in a huge force pulse. These temple cells were designed to hold regular prisoners, and they were capable of holding most regular Jedi as well. But Anakin was far beyond a regular Jedi, especially when using the dark. Anakin's force pulse cracked the walls. The ray shield began to sputter in and out. The temple guards ignited their yellow blades. Anakin had made a choice. He chose to do what he must to save Padme. He blasted through the cell walls, and one of the guards was crushed under the destruction. Nearby young Jedi were hit with the rubble, falling injured, running away in fear and confusion. Anakin then used a force push to throw 2 of them away, then reached out and grabbed another in a force choke. The guard gasped, grasping at his neck before Anakin closed his fist and he fell dead. The other 2 guards returned, lightsabers ignited, and they swung at Anakin. One of them swung for Anakin's chest. Anakin easily ducked, stabbing his lightsaber up through the stomach of the guard. The other tried stabbing towards Anakin in that moment, but Anakin grabbed her lightsaber hilt, ripped it from her hands, and used both his lightsaber and the yellow guard one to slice the final guard in half. And Anakin took off through the opposite hall
You're cute,
towards the
not
hangar.
me.
Shaak Ti broke free from the psychometry, dropping to her knees. She couldn't believe it. What could have possibly driven Anakin to this? And in the temple hangar now, Anakin entered, getting to a speeder, thinking only of Padme, knowing he must save her, only for the emergency hangar shutdown to be activated. Anakin turned to the gate controls to see 𝙂𝙚 and 2 other Jedi Knights standing bravely. but Anakin could sense their fear.
Yeah.
He didn't have time
Rainy
for
is
this.
a big cutie.
He began walking over to the three Jedi, and with every pace,
Why? Oh. Oh no. Yeah, they're being bullied. Why? How could I ever possibly be cute?
he could feel their fear increasing. They didn't stand a chance. Anakin reached out, pulled the lightsabers from the belts of the two young Jedi on either side of 𝙂𝙚, and he immediately ignited them, throwing them right for the two Jedi. Their heads fell to the floor, and 𝙂𝙚 ignited his lightsaber, sprinting at Anakin. 𝙂𝙚 jumped, swinging hard at Anakin. Anakin sidestepped the swing, then leapt over a cut for his knees. 𝙂𝙚 finished his combo by swinging for Anakin's chest, but Anakin reached a hand out, caught 𝙂𝙚's saber hand, and cracked his wrist. The green saber fell to the floor. Anakin then stabbed forward. 𝙂𝙚 dodged the first swing, then jumped up to kick Anakin in the chest. Anakin slammed into the wall, and 𝙂𝙚 went in for another kick, but now Anakin was ready. He grabbed 𝙂𝙚 by the neck, threw him hard into the floor, then stabbed his lightsaber through 𝙂𝙚's chest and
I was gonna
floor,
say, what the fuck
and
is
then
going?
reactivated the hangar door. Whispers of darkness were echoing in Anakin's mind as he told himself that the Jedi were evil, and what he was doing was the right thing. Anakin took off, flying as fast as he could through the Coruscant traffic that seemed to be more busy than ever. Rain was slamming his windshield in sheets, and as he finally flew by the executive building, lightning nearly slammed right into Anakin's ship. Anakin thought that the storm outside was getting worse, but quickly, he realized the lightning was coming from inside the building. Could he be too late? Anakin pulled his speeder up to the office window, slashing through it, and sprinting past the fallen bodies of Fisto, Tin, and Kolar. He emerged through the hall and into the secondary office. Finally, he made it. He allowed himself to feel some relief, but it melted away immediately as Anakin looked to the shattered
Sure.
window. In the corner stood Mace Windu breathing heavily, and in front of him was Darth Sidious, no longer breathing at all. There was a stab wound right through whatever was left of his heart, and his dead eyes held the look of pure horror. Mace looked at Anakin, and he told him it's over. Sidious is dead. Mace didn't know how Anakin escaped the cell. Perhaps Shaak Ti let him out, but Anakin turned his saddened gaze from Palpatine, and it twisted into a gaze of hatred as he looked at Windu. And Windu quickly understood that Anakin was not simply let out of the cell. He could feel his power raging in this moment, and Mace pointed his purple blade at Anakin, telling him to stand down. It's over. But Mace stared down Anakin, and he could tell that the boy would not be stopping. The dark side had fully consumed him. The force around Anakin rippled with rage and heartbreak. He centered himself, then reached out with his ability to see Anakin's shatter points, the invisible fractures running through people and events, where the entire future can break or heal, depending on a single choice. To most, the force flows like a current. To Mace, it's like glass, perfect until you find the cracks. And as he looked at Anakin, the cracks would ignite like a lava river. He saw that Anakin himself is a living Shatterpoint, the blueprint on which the entire galaxy seems to balance. One path was fire with the Republic collapsing, Jedi Temple burning, stars dimming under the shadow of waves of massive Star Destroyers. Another showed light returning to the galaxy. In that moment, Windu realized that killing Sidious was only half the battle. Anakin ignited his lightsaber, thinking to himself that maybe if he kills Windu and finishes Darth Sidious's mission, then he will find the power to save Padme. He sprinted towards Windu, leaping through the air, and he swung for Windu's chest. Windu's purple blade intercepted the strike, and he pushed back, swinging for Anakin. Anakin ducked, stabbed forward, and Mace pushed Anakin a step away before twisting to kick Anakin across the face. Anakin stumbled to the window ledge, the wet floor making his footing uneasy, and Windu slammed his saber hard into Anakin's, as Anakin tumbled, slipping backwards out of the sloped roof of the building. Anakin rolled away, then stabbed his lightsaber into the roof to catch himself, and he looked back up to the window. Mace looked down to see Anakin, face and robes becoming soaked from the rain, and Anakin slowly began marching back up. So, Mace flipped out, sliding down the roof, quickly colliding his saber with Anakin's as they both grounded themselves, catching their breaths. Mace told Anakin to stop this madness. The Sith are dead. The war can end. The Jedi can finally bring peace to the galaxy. Anakin spun his blade around in the night rain, water hitting the plasma, turning to steam, and he told Windu that Palpatine warned him that the Jedi are trying to take over, but he was too blinded by their brainwashing to see the truth until it was too late. But he will correct that error, and Anakin threw his saber at Windu. It spun through the air. Windu knocked it away, only for Anakin to fly in and kick Windu hard to the metal ground. Anakin called back his blade, and he sliced it across the ceiling, barely missing Windu. Windu scrambled back to his feet, wiping blood from his mouth, determined to end this. Anakin moved back in, and with a dark scream he swung hard at Windu, and Windu flipped right over Anakin. Anakin blocked a strike above his head, and Windu landed behind him, swinging for Anakin's chest. Anakin caught Windu's arm with his free hand, but Windu dropped his saber into his free hand, catching Anakin by surprise as he swung and cut through Anakin's arm that was holding his lightsaber. Anakin stumbled backwards in surprise, clutching the area where his hand just was, looking up at Mace. Over a decade of Jedi training, meditating, fighting in the war, loving Padme, being the best master he could be for Ahsoka, the best Padawan he could be for Obi-Wan, everything he ever worked for, it all came collapsing down in this moment. The sheer burning pain in Anakin's arm helped him snap out of the trance he was in. He recalled the temple guards, 𝙂𝙚 and the Jedi in the hangar. He failed, and as the thunder from the storm cracked through the sky, it sounded just like the laughter of the Sith, echoing in Anakin's ears. Finally, 6 LAT gunships began circling Anakin and Windu from above, led by Master T. Anakin fell to his knees as Coruscant Guard clones dropped down, cupping Anakin's elbows together, and he was loaded onto a ship. Mace Windu watched the ships fly off, and he prepared himself to tell the entire Republic about why he just killed the Chancellor. Many hours later, Anakin was inside of a top-security Republic prison, levels below the regular prison, and he would not be breaking out of this one. He was charged with the killing of 7 Jedi, and when Windu presented the Senate with proof that Palpatine was working with Dooku and the Separatists, Anakin was charged with treason for siding with him. He was alone in this dark cell, as a surgery droid was giving him another robotic arm, so now he had 0 real arms. And as Anakin sat here with his head in his hands, he heard the main doors open, as many footsteps began walking his way. Anakin looked up as a Mandalorian vault was guided by. From inside of it, Darth Maul gazed at Anakin with surprise and amusement. Behind it, Ahsoka, Rex, and the Coruscant Guard clones put the vault into his own cell. Ahsoka and Rex would turn to Anakin. They didn't know what to say. Anakin just said he was so sorry. Ahsoka said she knows. Rex didn't say anything, and they all would leave the prison, as Anakin was alone in the darkness. And with the Sith gone, Grievous dead, and the Separatist leaders soon captured, the war would come to a close. The droid army was shut down. Clones and Jedi alike were recalled from all over the galaxy to mark the official end. Obi-Wan heard about Anakin as he was returning from Utapau. He found Padme and Ahsoka in the Senate, as Ahsoka was comforting Padme. Both Kenobi and Ahsoka knew deep down how close she was with Anakin, but it was still a shock when they learned Anakin was the father. Over time, the galaxy would be forced to move on. Ahsoka would return to the Jedi Order. Obi-Wan would complete her training. Padme would safely give birth to the twins. Anakin would remain in prison. He would be visited often by all 3 of them, but there was a new distance between them. Anakin understood that this was going to be his life for a long time after what he did. And in time, as the twins became Jedi at an early age, Padme would hide her sadness with work, helping the Republic transform into a system she could be proud of, as Kenobi and Ahsoka were determined to make sure the Skywalker twins do not become corrupted like their father. As for Mace Windu, he was still the lead Jedi in helping Padme fix the Republic. He knew that Anakin's turn was Anakin's own fault, but still, Windu did blame himself some for how he handled his visions. He felt he could have done more to prevent the death and prevent Anakin's turn to the dark. So, he worked to help Padme and the twins, and the galaxy would move on in peace, without Anakin Skywalker there to help guide it. And folks, that is our story for today. I went into this kind of thinking, I want there to, I want the visions to play a role, but I don't want the visions to have a completely perfect effect, because I don't think they always should.
Yeah, I understand that. Ooh, let's see what this is.
Think your incognito mode is actually private? Think again. I'm about to show you undeniable proof that Windows 11 is tracking every single website you visit, even when you're browsing in private mode. And this isn't some conspiracy theory.
All right.
This is documented, verifiable, and happening on your computer right now. Let's dive in. The promise of incognito mode.
Okay. Oh, itchy
First,
itch.
let's talk about what incognito mode promises you. When you open a private browsing window, your browser tells you it won't save your history, cookies, or site data. And that's technically true for the browser. But here's what they
Yeah.
don't tell you. Your browser isn't the only thing watching. Your operating system sees everything.
I'm gonna take a
And
short
Windows 11
break.
It's
And
taking notes.
hold on.
While your browser forgets.
Alright. I'm gonna chat. Alright, chat. I'm gonna take a short break from drawing and just try to eat something.
Windows remembers. Let me show you the smoking gun. It's called Windows Activity History, and it's enabled by default on most Windows 11 installations.
Oh yeah, I know about that one. I had disabled it. I had disabled it the first. So when I first boot up Windows 11 myself, I went through the CTT. What was it? Chris Tech. I forget it. But yeah, I went through that first. Did all the deep loading stuff, and I also went through all the possible registry settings to make sure to disable pretty much any possible way of Microsoft Microsoft to ability to spy on me, as well as the Windows Activity History. I disabled that one as well. Also all the telemetry stuff like that. Pretty much everything that anything that's remotely spyware or telemetry thingies to sell to third-party companies, I had disabled it already. Also, I physically disabled the. Here's the thing. I went so far as to basically use a few command prompts to use a few scripts to actually physically remove Microsoft Store, physically remove the Xbox Game Bar, physically remove Microsoft Edge and all that. Yeah, pretty much anything. Deep loading Windows to the point that I can legally say, "Fuck you, Microsoft. This is my computer. I can do whatever the fuck I want with it, as long as it's not used for like any criminal stuff like that." Which I'm actually too lazy to do that. Yeah. I'm too lazy to do that. I just want to draw. I just want to draw without being spied on. Thank you.
Here's how to see it yourself. Step 1. Open Windows Settings. Step 2. Go to Privacy and Security. Step 3. Click on Activity History. Notice that checkbox? Store my activity history on this device. For most of you watching, this is turned on, but here's where it gets worse. Let me show you what Windows is actually collecting. Navigate to your Microsoft account online, specifically the Activity History page. And look at this. These are websites I visited in incognito mode. 2 hours ago, 3 days ago.
Here's the thing. With activity history, even if you turn it off in settings, it's still actively collecting some sort of history. So that's why I had to use command prompt. I had to use PowerShell. I had to use the whole 9 yards to say, "Fuck you, Microsoft. You ain't spying on me anymore. Fuck you." And I basically to the point that I actually cut off any way Microsoft communicating with my PC except for Windows updates. And even then, I delay Windows updates. And I delay Windows updates, look on YouTube to see what the updates are going on, what the updates changes like that. Wait a few days, and then like clockwork, Microsoft continuously getting exposed for introducing more spyware and whatnot. I just want to stream a little Edge. Edge is always hogging stuff. Yeah, I do not use Microsoft Edge. What I use is I use multiple forks of Firefox. For example, LibreWolf and Floor. Those are the two most popular privacy focused forks of Firefox. Yeah, Chrome is even worse. To be honest, Chrome is even worse. And what was again? If you still want you want Chrome but privacy based, I suggest Brave browser. It is Chrome based, but it's also heavily privacy based and supports all V2 extensions. And fine with all other Google. Google's always always bending everyone over, and everyone's always submitting to Google. So technically, you are Google's bottom. I'm sorry, you are a bottom, just a bottom to Google. I'm sorry. You're bottom, just a bottom to Google.
Last week, Windows logged them all, the timestamps, the URLs, even how long I spent on each page. Microsoft Edge?
Says the bottom. Fuck you. Anyways, even if you disable Windows Activity History, you actually have to go to Command Prompt to actually empty the activity history as well.
It's integrated directly into Windows 11, which means even your private browsing creates system-level logs that activity history captures. So how is this happening? 3 main ways. Number 1, timeline and activity history. Windows 11 logs application activity, including which websites you access through Microsoft Edge, regardless of browsing mode. This data can sync to your Microsoft account. Number 2, Smart Screen and Windows Defender. Every URL you visit gets...
I disable Smart Windows Defender. I still keep, but I disable Smart Screen.
checked against Microsoft's threat database. That means every URL passes through Microsoft's servers, incognito or not. They claim it's anonymized, but your IP address and some identifying information is still sent. Number 3, diagnostic data. Windows 11 collects required diagnostic data, which includes information about websites you visit and apps you use. Microsoft admits this in their privacy documentation, but most people never read it. And here's the kicker. Even if you turn off activity history, some of this data collection continues as part of Windows core functionality. It's not just Microsoft. Before you switch to Mac or Linux, understand this. It's not just Windows. Apple collects Safari browsing data. Google Chrome phones home constantly. Your ISP sees everything regardless of incognito mode. Your employer's network? They're watching too. Incognito mode was never designed to hide you from your operating system, your ISP, your employer, or the websites you visit. It only hides your activity from other people using the same computer. The real issue is that most people don't know this. They think incognito mode makes them invisible. It doesn't. How to act.
I don't think that's a place to be proud of. Also, okay. A bit energized from eating now. Alright. Alright. Put it back on. Alright. Alright.
Actually protect your privacy. So what can you actually do about this? Here are your options, ranked from easiest to most secure. Level 1, Basic Protection Disable Activity History in Windows Settings. Turn off timeline syncing. Use a non-Microsoft browser like Firefox or Brave. Set Windows diagnostic data to required only, though this still collects some data.
Yeah.
Level 2, moderate protection. Use a VPN to hide your traffic from your ISP and network administrators. Switch to privacy-focused browsers with built-in tracking protection. Disable Windows telemetry using third-party tools, but be careful with this. Use a local account instead of a Microsoft account. Level 3,
I use local
maximum
account.
protection. Use the Tor browser for truly anonymous browsing. Consider switching to a privacy-focused OS like Linux. Use virtual machines for sensitive browsing. Route all
Yep.
traffic through VPN plus Tor for maximum anonymity. Remember, each level trades convenience for privacy. Choose what matches your needs.
Yep.
The bigger picture. This isn't about demonizing Microsoft. Every tech company does some version of this.
Yeah.
It's about understanding that in 2025, true privacy requires active effort. It's not the default. The question you need to ask yourself is, what's my threat model? Are you hiding from other people on your computer? Incognito mode works fine. Your ISP or employer. You need a VPN, big tech companies. You need different tools entirely. Government surveillance? That requires extreme measures most people won't take. Be realistic about your privacy needs and choose your tools accordingly. So there you have it.
Yeah.
Definitive proof that Windows 11 tracks your browsing even in incognito mode. And what
I realized after I said, yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, that might not be something to be proud of, though. Sure, if you're like freelance artist, you're technically employed. Like, yeah.
you can actually do about it. If this opened your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe for more tech privacy content. Drop a comment and let me know.
Let you know that you can be sucking these nuts. Got it.
Hello, guys.
I'm technically a streamer. Yes, but are you making enough money to be able to sustain yourself month to month? Or at least for the minimum, just be able to sustain yourself for a minimum of 3 months? No? Then yeah. Sure, the government will say, oh, you're getting paid to do streaming. You're technically employed. Bitch, no, I am not employed by Twitch. Sure, Twitch pays me a little bit, but not enough to actually sustain myself, so. Not enough to be legally classified as a job. So yeah.
Guys and gals.
Where's that brain image? Hey yo. I does it mean I'm being punished?
Me, 𝙂𝙚, and I remember as a child I used to be fighting in the console jihad back in the day. Okay, Team Xbox was where I was standing.
Sorry.
While my contemporaries were fighting.
Sorry, someone accidentally made another kitchen fire. I may. Yes, I may be a little bit.
On the other side of the aisle and Team PlayStation, the guys over at the Nintendo Wii side usually just sat down and played WarioWare or Legend of Zelda.
Always? Always? What do you mean always?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, things are different now. GameStop has shown a photo, totally not AI generated, obviously, with good old Master Chief standing next to President Trump. And the response was, President Trump presides over the end of the 20-year console war. To which GameStop declares the wars are over. For the past 2 decades, the global gaming community has been engaged in an ongoing and increasingly petty conflict.
About the punished comment. No comment. No comment. No comment for that.
Whereas said conflict originated in the early 2000s with the release of the Halo combat, fuck GameStop, okay? They don't even know gaming history, alright? How are you forgetting Nintendo and Sega, dog? How are you gonna forget the actual console war, alright? God damn! Halo Campaign Evolved is officially coming to PlayStation in 2026. Now, of course, this is the end of the console war, so again, to show you what's actually been going on, Halo has gotten a second remake. The first Halo, actually. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing over here is not, in fact, a cutscene. This is apparently real-time gameplay of Halo Campaign Evolved. Now, I played the Halo campaign pretty religiously for the last, 20 years that it's been out. And just a few days ago,
Oh, that was
actually
Combat
played through
Evolved.
Halo without even knowing that this remake was going to be a thing. And I'll tell you right now, it's
What the
one of
fuck?
games that always stands the test.
Are you kidding me?
It is one of the most cohesive. It is one
Halo
of the
CE
best
remastered.
first-person shooters
Holy
that anybody can
fuck.
play through. Now, obviously, Halo Campaign Evolved looks pretty damn good.
Holy
Obviously,
fuck.
compared
We
to
got
the
Halo
360
2
game,
anniversary
and even
remastered.
that was the
I mean, we
first
already got
remake, Halo,
technically
the
Halo
anniversary
CE
back in the
remastered.
day.
Now we're getting
Yeah,
a
it looks
second
alright, it looks
Halo
good.
CE
You know, I guess
remaster.
sprinting for the people that enjoy sprinting, which I guess the Halo community is pretty
You'll
split
figure
on. 'Cause there's a lot of
Oh
people that don't
no,
believe that
no,
shooting
no,
Halo 1 back then, and there's some people
no.
that think I don't give a fuck. To me, I really don't care either. But there's a lot of points in this map that have not been adjusted for the fact
Make you
that
hold
maps are
hand.
changed.
No, we can't hold hands
There
unless we're
are a regulation
married.
change when it comes to the assault rifle. Somehow, we have gone down from extended magazines to 32-round magazines. Don't know why that is, but it is what it is. Overall,
You're thinking of World of Warcraft. Halo Combat Evolved is a first-person FPS shooter. However, Halo Combat Evolved predates COD competitive match multiplayer. So it's more of a the multiplayer of Halo is actually more casual than competitive. This was before Microsoft said we're gonna copy COD and Overwatch and whatnot. This is back in 2003.
to me,
Here you say, yes, 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 please. Please. Holding my hand, this means you're wife. You are wife. You broke her. You thought I could be fixed in the first place. She isn't hard to break. I may shatter like glass, but I'm soft like silicone.
this looks like a Halo Infinite asset flip, and I'm not even gonna try to hide that. It looks good. It just looks like Halo fucking Infinite. Okay, that's pretty much the only vibe that I'm getting. Now, am I excited for an actual remake of the original Halo? If it doesn't come with the multiplayer, if it doesn't come with Firefight, if it doesn't come with Forge, if it doesn't come with the multiplayer, if it doesn't come with Firefight, if it doesn't come with Forge, I'm not going to really give that much of a shit about this, okay? Xbox used to be an actual like brand that I think really people cared about. And, you know, to give you a little bit of history, it didn't come out of nowhere. Back in 2001, when you had Bill Gates and The Rock showcasing the original Xbox
I remember
on
that.
stage for the entire world to see, it really was a console that changed, I would say, everything. It was a pretty domineering force. Now, back in the day, PlayStation 2, so I used to play games like GTA San Andreas, had a pretty good time with it. But the Xbox was absolutely performance-wise compared to the PlayStation 2. And nowhere was it more evident than just the multi-platform games even, right? Like back in the day when I played Splinter Cell Chaos 3 for the first time, it was on the PlayStation 2. It was the first actual glimpse that I had of one of my favorite stealth games. And then down the road, I ended up actually playing on PC, which was the Xbox version. And that version was so much different. It looked so much visually better. The maps themselves, instead of being sectioned off because of the PlayStation 2's memory limit, they were absolutely
shadows.
It was a different game. And that's where it really felt like if you owned an Xbox, you had an experience, at least for the multi-platforms, far better. Even the original Grand Theft Auto trilogy is much better played if you were to play it on original systems to just rock it on the Xbox. And of course, let's not forget how impressive the modding community for the original Xbox even is.
Yeah.
And to this day, you can still play, you know, pretty much any of your favorite media on a modern or like an original Xbox. There's people still doing hardware mods to this day. In fact, the community behind the original Xbox Live has fought tooth and nail to preserve the original Xbox Live through a project called Insignia, where if you ever wanted to play the OG Halo 2, you can actually play it through Insignia with actual hardware and emulation as well. So of course, down the road, it wasn't just this reveal, it was also the Xbox 360. Now, one of the first reveals that I saw for this was a game called Full Auto, which I remember back in the day when I was growing up, right? Literally going from a PlayStation 2 and seeing this, I was like, graphics ain't gonna get much better. Like we've literally peaked as a species. And of course, obviously with ray tracing and things like that, graphics always can get better. But this was I think the last time when visuals really were generationally different from the past console generation, right? And of course, it wasn't just this game. The big piece of software that really cemented the Xbox 360, in my opinion, was a game known as Halo 3. Now, if you grew up playing Halo 3 at all, even if you were playing it at a friend's house or you actually owned an Xbox 360, it was really a game that changed, I would say, gaming. Really, the hype behind it was insane. The game was perfect. It really was. It was just absolutely a perfect experience. It had a decent campaign that you could play cooperatively with your friends or with somebody that you kidnapped, put to your side, played split screen. Remember when that was a thing? Remember when 343
I remember that was
going and saying, yeah, going into the future, split screen is definitely going to be a thing.
The multiplayer launch of NPC.
That was a fucking lie.
Didn't put split screen in with Halo 5. I think it's incredibly painful for the community and for us. You know, I think it erodes trust with the community, as the community is part of our world building.
Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. You don't care. You just want profits.
Going out forward, we will always have split screen in going forward, but painful learnings.
Never really was a thing, was it? They really worked towards it. Fuck 343. And then
apparently,
course, you know, you also had a perfect multiplayer on top of it. You know, everything was there day one.
I doubt it.
Playlist worked. You know, you had the ability to create your own maps.
You have online multiplayer. They have no incentive to do actual split screen. They say, oh, we're gonna put split screen in it just to get more profit. They just say that to just get more profit. That's literally false advertising. Every company has been saying that, failing at it, and then proceeding getting sued for it.
Day one through Forge, you had the ability to watch your matches, watch all your content in the theater replay, make your machinimas super duper easy. You know, a feature that worked back in 2007? Nowadays, if 343 tries launching with the theater mode in Halo Infinite, that shit absolutely craps itself. You know, this was a time when I think gaming, you know, when you went out to the store and bought a $60 game, you actually...
Chad, why would you want to play split screen? We can split me instead. Anywho, yeah, split screen. Surprisingly, Halo CE and Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Master Chief Collection for the Xbox Series XS and Xbox One does support split screen. Behave on stream. Behave on stream. Since my navigator done that, pretty much all.
Actually did end up getting $60 worth of real game. You know, it's crazy to think. People are always like, why are you never excited about things like Halo Muda? It's because, like, here, I'll give you an example. This is a game called Halo Reach. I remember picking this game up physically, and, you know, it's got a whole manual and everything. You know, back when video games had, like, an entire manual, you know, they gave you something that you could actually read. You know what I mean? Like, something with actual, like, pictures and stuff. You know, actual, like, value put into the physical media. And then, of course, you know, they didn't hide behind giving you, you know, whatever cosmetic you wanted with your little Xbox Live codes. But see this disc? This disc contains an entire game. And the way that I know this is, for this video, I backed this up through my actual, like, system and ran it in an emulator called Xenia. And the original launch version of Halo Reach had the entire campaign. It had the multiplayer completely on release. It had Forge mode with all of its additions. It had theater. It even had Firefight, which was the best firefight the series, in my opinion, has actually ever had. All of this day one that you could play with your friends with an internet connection or just locally and even split screen.
Exactly.
Okay. Nowadays, if 343 even considers doing that shit, it literally is just a lost cause. Okay. Nowadays, you can't even get an entire Xbox game on a disc. You know, back
Halo Infinite doesn't work at all. It doesn't even work on its own platform, which is Xbox.
in the day, buying Skyrim Legendary, they used to just give you these 2 discs with the actual DLC that you could even share with your friends the entire time. Now, you can't even pick up the physical version of Outer Wilds without it requiring the internet, even though the game itself can just fit on a disc. So there's a lot of reasons why I don't have a lot of faith in things like Halo going forward.
They're releasing games so big, it does not fit on a disc. Which, legally speaking, you shouldn't be able to do.
Now again, you know,
Yet,
I think Halo Campaign Evolved
it's still
can be
lawful
great
to do it.
if they just actually decide to have, you know, maybe some multiplayer toss with it, which they probably still should. Surely shouldn't be a full like $80 experience, $70, whatever the prices are these days. And you know, if you're gonna want people to stick around, maybe adding in things like Firefight, Forge, these are all things that, especially for the first time in gaming history, if PlayStation players are actually given the chance to play Halo now, which is so insane. Halo is now on PlayStation. The war is done and dusted. It's over. Okay, Echo 419, don't even bother picking me up. The Sony ponies have it too. You know, it's over. And you know, the console wars are pretty much done and dusted. I think at this point, Xbox pretty much knows that, you know, nobody's buying the next generation hardware. And even when it comes to Xbox, the next Xbox is supposed to be this premium experience that gives you the full power of the Windows PC gaming platform. And no multiplayer paywall.
I still call bullshit on that.
You know, I've said this for years. The best thing Microsoft can do is sell you an Xbox Series X that allows you to split it up inside, you know, just install Windows on a separate partition and just use it like a gaming PC. So players could have access to Steam, Epic Games, games for Windows, all of their shit just on one box, okay? With an easy-to-use console interface for people that just wanted an easy-to-use console interface. And they've kind of done that. They've introduced the Xbox Rogue Ally X, which actually has a special version of Windows 11 where they allow you to basically unload 2 gigabytes worth of bloat just to get extra performance on a device. And I don't own one. I've used a friend's, and it's a pretty decent device, although it ain't beating the Steam Deck, in my opinion, anytime soon. Ultimately, I see Microsoft trying to maybe turn Xbox more into a software platform and turn...
I'm not sure how I can do with a hologram-ish.
More into, I guess,
Is it a hologram? I can do
the Xbox
shading that I planned for it.
I think it'd be cool. I think it could be fun.
A hologram.
It's just more of a showcase that Xbox knows that they're never going to compete with PlayStation or Nintendo in this space. So you might as well cater to a group of people that I guess prefer a more open console platform, which I think that's really a cool selling point. If Xbox does it, you know, is Xbox technically dead then? I mean, sure, in terms of console gaming, they're very dead. But I think the product that they sell could be very appealing to people that ultimately, at the end of the day, probably want to get into things like PC gaming, but maybe they just want like a really good pre-built gaming computer, which I think Xbox could easily provide out of the box. You know, and to give people the extra choice of having Windows OS run.
Hey, fun fact: every Xbox released is technically a pre-built gaming computer that's running a specialized version of Windows.
As a PC is just an extra boon, right? Like imagine people who want to get into things like PC gaming and, you know, instead of building their own computer and installing their own operating system, they can just go to a Walmart, pick up an Xbox, go home, press a few buttons on the controller. It automatically installs Windows 11 and then they can just play PC games as if it was a PC, right? Like that could be an absolute viable thing. And the reason why they would abandon paid multiplayer is because Microsoft at one point tried to get PC gamers to pay for like fucking live gold. And, you know, this is laughable. This is back in like 2008. They did this with Gears of War 1 on the PC. PC gamers basically took down their pants, spread their fucking cheeks, and took a giant shit all over, what was it, Steve Ballmer's face at the time. And we're like, yeah, we're not paying for online multiplayer. And Microsoft really tried fighting for this. But because PC gamers have a lot of different options, right? Like you can just, you can hold 2 fingers up in the air and say, fuck you, we'll go to like Steam, we'll go to Xfire, we'll go to anybody else. And so Microsoft lost this, and now that's why PC gamers, even when it comes to the Xbox software, don't actually fucking pay for online services. That is where we're sitting at. And of course, if Microsoft wants to, I guess, sell PCs in the store, this is not something that they're going to get away with at all. But
Yeah.
of course, that just means that they're going to raise the prices for Xbox Game Pass and revoke or like sort of make up that cost somewhere else. Now to go back to again the console
Yep,
wars,
every
ladies and
time.
gentlemen, I think it's just interesting.
Every
to see
fucking
the
time.
government has now jumped onto it. You know, obviously I was going to talk about this in today's video, but these are government accounts on Twitter or X or whatever going, get in, we're making America great again. You got Trump sitting with Master Chief in the Warthog, bro. God damn. You know, you got Marty O'Donnell coming out. We got to finish the fight, buckos. But I think out of all of it, what's really wild is, yeah, Homeland Security going over here. Vaporwave posting, destroy the flood. Join.ice.gov.
What the
Do we
fuck?
even live in a normal reality anymore when this shit is kind of like, what the fuck is going on anymore? What the fuck is happening?
What the
society?
fuck?
Where this is a thing now. The government is plasma posting. They're plasma posting. Although
I
like
am-
my favorite thing if
I am in
Trump is,
utter
Master
disbelief.
Chief, clearly
What the
Commander
fuck is
Chief
going
has to
on?
be Jeffrey Epstein, it might be. I wonder if, like, you know, they'll ever post the meme where, like, people, like, literally somebody edited the introduction of the silent cartographer. I'll edit it if I can find it, where it's like they're flying in the Pelican, and Master Chief's looking out back, and he's like, "Whoa, that Epstein Island." Yeah, I don't care how much the government plasma posts. Can we get a little update on those Epstein files? You know,
He couldn't
ladies and
find it.
gentlemen? Can we talk about some of those crypto pardons that have been happening? And of course, GameStop has jumped in. They made Trump Master Chief here, and of course, JD Vance's fucking Cortana.
What the
Goddamn,
fuck?
this is fucking
That's
crazy.
Fucked.
Although my favorite is like how they got these AI like slop posts where it's just like Chief is 117, and then they've got like not even the right amount of stars. Come on, man, at least get like the intern to Photoshop in the right amount of fucking stars, man. I mean, that's your country's flag right there. Have some respect. But yeah, you know, Xbox, it really is just a brand that I don't think Microsoft has really treated that much seriously since the 360. Look, the worst thing that
Yep.
ever happened to this brand was back during the Xbox One reveal, when literally the first thing they show when they go up on stage is showing you how you can launch Skype calls and run entire like TV shows on your Xbox. When in reality, it took over, what, like 20 more minutes to get to exclusive game announcements. You know, the things that people care about when it comes to the actual consoles that they buy. Again, I
Yep.
don't think Xbox really has cared so much about trying to appeal. And honestly, I can kind of understand it. Like, Microsoft has never really made waves in Japan, or I think even Europe, like especially Japan. I think Microsoft really tried with the 360 when they actually had companies like Mistwalker make games like Lost Odyssey, you know, games that really did try to appeal to Japanese sensibilities and also the world. But, you know, ultimately they were never able to break into certain markets. And when it came to just North America, the fumble of the Xbox One was so damning to the company that, you know, really they just kind of handed off everything to PlayStation. And that's why, at this moment in time, I think PlayStation really is probably doing the best it's probably ever done, right? Like, the PlayStation 4 was wildly successful, and the PlayStation 5, you know, compared to, you know, the Xbox Series system, which is what they're doing,
Yep.
they're doing a pretty damn good job at it. And ultimately, look, at the end of the day, I think Microsoft realizes that if they want to make money on their software, which I think they really have to, considering how much money Xbox has
Alright.
spent over the last 2 years.
I need to give my neck a respite.
At some point, they're just going to have to recoup these sales, even if it means selling Halo, which is one of the most important IPs. Honestly, the one IP that probably solidified Xbox's place in the living room. Now it's going to be running on pretty much everything. So yeah,
Yep.
the console wars are over because Xbox has truly just lost that race. You know, they have just become the next Sega. You know, they're still making games. They're just not making the next piece of hardware. And that's simply because no matter how much money you throw into the ring, without
Yep.
any form of proper marketing, without any form of proper sensibilities, you know, ultimately a brand even as large as the Xbox can completely falter. Because look, at the end of the day, it's about gaming, right? And, you know, even if you're somebody that doesn't get the value of exclusives because, hey, I'm a PC gamer, I'm happy that I can play PlayStation games on my PC. I'm happy that I can play Xbox games on my PC. And when it comes to a console, the only console I'm a fan of is like really
Come on.
PlayStation, because at
Come
least the
on.
physical discs that I buy
Model.
are filled with the game
Wake up.
still for now, and they're the only, you know, system out there releasing
I use my beloved jet engine.
exclusive that I actually end up caring about. You know, if every PlayStation
Oh, this
game
funny
is
as
day
fuck.
one to the PC, that might even be less incentive of me to even fire up the actual PlayStation than it is. You know, it's one of the reasons why I've always said if physical gaming even dies, I'll probably never touch a PlayStation or an Xbox.
All right, there we go.
Or really any system, or Nintendo, whatever, because ultimately, the end, if we don't even own our games.
Yeah, I played the shit out of the original Xbox, the original one that came out in 2001. Of course, I didn't get my own until 2009, but me and my older sibling played on the original Xbox together. We played Forza Motorsports and Halo Combat Evolved. It was a very fun time. It was a very fun time back then. Yeah. Give my neck a little bit of a rest here. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna see if... Let's see here, fuck. Alright. No, I kinda wish it got second webcams just in case I want to move over to another monitor, next monitor. Just, yeah. Unfortunate, just one webcam. So, yeah. Thank you, Bree. Thank you for following. Welcome. How you been? How are you doing? Welcome. How are you? Doing good. We're just doing some art. I am just taking another break so I don't overstrain my neck. Alright. But how are you? I'm trying not to overstrain my neck here. So yeah. Taking just a few minute break and getting back into art, so yeah. Alright.
Oh, that's great, look at that. Oh, the nether is crumbling. My fortress is collapsing. Oh, I see obsidian. Oh, okay. So one of Minecraft's interesting game mechanics is place blocks typically aren't affected by gravity. Well, apart from this surprisingly...
Oh, 1 mile for the end of... 1 mil for the end of stream. I don't understand.
long list and snow layers in Bedrock Edition for some reason, but today this Minecraft world is a little different. Every block in this world is a gravity block. Oh, here we go. Okay, so not actually every block. Obsidian and Bedrock are not affected by gravity. All of the blocks would just fall into the void. That looks so weird.
Makes sense.
So we definitely can't have some cave-ins. I need to be so careful. Let's make some tools.
Makes sense.
Oh, that's great. Oh no, digging down is gonna be a lot more difficult. All the blocks are gonna fall. Oh, I've never been crushed by dirt before. Oh no! No! It's collapsing!
Oh no!
I'm gonna get smushed by stone? Oh, oh, this is gonna be difficult to get around. How do I even jump? How do I even bridge gaps? Oh, something is happening. There's a cave in. Oh, what? Is this whole place just hollow? It must be. Oh, there's more coal there.
Oh no.
I'll just mine it down. Oh, this is a great feature. If I go any higher, it's gonna cause a collapse. Right?
1 minute challenge punch for what?
Oh yes, there's a pig. Oh no. Those leaves falling are crazy. Come here, pigs. Oh no.
Oh, I now remember.
There you are. You're hiding in the bush. Chickens. I just popped an egg. Thank you for the egg. I wonder how torches work. Why am I getting leaf blocks? Oh, oh that's great.
Oh.
Look at that. This slides down the block. Wait a second, I have an idea. Can I break this and quickly right click? Oh my goodness, I have an instant tree miner. If I just mine and hold right... Oh no, it didn't work. I can mine trees instantly. This terrain is getting so broken. It would be good if sand didn't follow gravity in this world. That would have been fitting. It seems like we have a big collapse. Oh yeah. I need to be careful where I'm walking. That would have been the end. Look at that. Okay, I think we need to stock up on some food.
It says end
I'm
stream.
getting these items like vines.
Oh yeah,
fig
yep.
leaves. Okay, this might.
So basically 1 million points is just be ending stream briefly. Kind of like it. I don't actually end stream. I do a fake out ending stream, and then for a few minutes, and then come back. Oh chat, time to end stream. You know, I wonder how many times, if I do that, how many times people actually leave stream.
Cause a huge collapse. Oh, we're okay. Everything is okay. Oh, I can't get used to that. Just blocks falling in front of me. There's a pillager outpost. What is gonna happen to the outpost? We have to check it out. We need to. But first, if you're new to the channel, subscribing to this YouTube channel makes my gravity furnaces go faster. Why don't you click that subscribe button? It would really help me out a lot. We should probably make a shield. Let's try and make sure that there's not a cave in the ground as we're making our way over here. Oh, I see a pillager. It's coming after me. Oh no. Now is not the time for a lag spike. Oh, it's falling apart. No. Look at the thing. Oh no, the chest. I saw the chest break. I didn't know it does that. Even look at our little tents. They've collapsed. Let's get some of this.
Oh no.
Make a bed. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Alright.
Okay.
Been cheating that.
Oh.
For
I just want to see what's in the chest. Oh. Oh, there's so many. Are they just gonna keep coming? Don't mind me. I'll just place my oh no, I can't. No. I thought I could place a gravity bed. Oh, LA. Oh, there it is. Potatoes. Why is it empty? I'm guessing that's the chest that dumped all of its items as it was falling. This still totally collapsed. Oh, there's 3. Oh, my axe. I really need to eat. Oh no. I
burped inside my mouth.
Look pretty cool though. That cliff is starting to collapse. Oh no. Here we go. Oh, that whole thing is hollow. Oh.
Alright.
That is a massive cave. Okay, let's try and get some iron. I really could do with some armor. Look how many blocks are on the dripstone. There's so much stone. I knew this would be difficult, but I didn't think it would be this dangerous. Look at that, we got coal ore on the ground. Why are they just breaking like that? I think it's time we actually give ourselves some protection and some better tools. Okay, at least that's a lot better. It's nice to have some armor. I'm so afraid that the ground is gonna fall out from below me. Oh! Oh no! That fell so far! Oh, I love the way there's just a slice taken out of this mountain now. Look, that's all gonna collapse. Oh. As long as I go slowly, the game doesn't mind. Nothing is gonna fall below us, I think. Whoa, is this grass safe? It's falling. That looks so weird. I need to get out of this dripstone cave area. This is not going well. Oh, there's a creeper.
Oh man.
Don't cause a collapse. It's a house. Can I even make it there? Oh, this ground is gonna collapse with me in it. Okay, nice and easy. Oh, that grass. Look at that. Oh, I'll take the hay bales. Oh, the houses are falling apart. My bale. These houses are not withstanding the gravity. The roofs are after collapsing on you guys. That looks so funny. The doors in those houses are giving me somewhat of an idea. Oh, there's a jungle. The leaves just fall off. I wonder, is it possible to build a house in this place? Okay, so we got our main doors, of course. Is this gonna work? Okay, so we can have floating blocks above the doors, of course. Are the trapdoors gonna fall too? I guess they are. Yeah, there we go. I guess this is a house. At least they can keep me safe. I guess we have access to what we need in here. That's probably the only way I could think to make a house in this place without the blocks falling. It's just behind the door. Oh, I do see a room portal right in the water there. Oh, and a ship. Don't collapse, don't collapse, don't collapse.
Don't collapse. Don't collapse. Definitely don't collapse.
Fortune 2? Efficiency hoe. Let's take that gold. Now let's check out the ship. Let me place the door. Nice. Curse of vanishing. Really? Is there another chest? Oh, there is. Buried treasure. Perfect. Okay,
nice.
Pretty far away. Maybe we should try and get it. Let's make a boat. I think I should be safe over the ocean. Nothing should collapse on me over here. Okay, there we go. Look at those big jungle trees just fall apart. Leave me alone. Okay, it's showing right here, but our tree is in the way. Let's go for 9-9. It should be right below this. Seriously. Please don't collapse. Please don't collapse. Yes. Okay, if there's a structure on a cliff, I have to collapse it. That is just too tempting. My structure.
Oh.
Just a random hay bale inside of the dirt. Hey guys, I'm sorry your place is collapsing. It's all my fault. Is it safe?
Lol.
Nice. Give me that iron. Oh no. Oh, I see beef inside the house. Okay, we have a lava pool there. I think we should try and get into the nether. The longer that I walk around this place, the more likely I am to fall to my death. That house is still standing. Not for long. We got a big lava pool. Let's try this speedrun nether technique. I need to learn this. There we go. Now we come to this side. Oh wait, oh, I can't do that. Wait a second. Ah! Maybe I can still make it work. Did you see that? I just got flint twice. Maybe I should just manually do this. Is that even gonna work? Oh, it is. There we go. I think I can still do this.
That's a new way.
No! Did I just lose all my lava? Oh no, there's still more. Maybe I should just do this the way I usually do it. This is still doable. It just requires more scaffolding. There we go. We have a nether portal. Okay. There we go. Yes. I really have no idea what's about to happen. But let's go. Oh. Okay.
Oh no.
I hear some noises. Things are breaking. My game is lagging. Okay. It looks like the blocks fell and the portal is now floating. The roof is not gonna fall unless I get closer to it. Hey, fortress. How am I supposed to get down from here?
Fortress collapses.
Do you want to do some trading? Oh no, I have no gold. Maybe you want to give me a fire resist. I don't even know if blazes are going to be a problem in this world, but maybe we can get some arrows. No, it was worth a try. This place is going to be even harder to navigate than usual. Oh goodness. This place is definitely going to collapse on my head. Oh no. Oh, more forest. We do need to get ender pearls. Let's try and make our way over there. I actually think torches in my offhand might be the safest thing for me right now. In case there's a cave in on the roof, I can place a torch. And hopefully I won't get smooshed. Oh, the nether is crumbling. Make a jump. Whew. How am I going to safely get the enderman now? Are you going to collapse? No, I think we're okay. Oh, no. No. Yes! That was probably going to be the end if I didn't get him in the boat. I wouldn't have been able to dig into the ground. Don't collapse on me. That's a big collapse. You're going to give me a pearl. I know you are. Stop walking away. Yeah!
Nice.
Oh, don't start with me, please. Is there a tool that breaks this fungus more quickly? Get back here. Oh no. Oh no. You're gonna teleport, right? Really? You didn't teleport? Oh, a bastion. Oh, I'm sick of bastions. Okay, 14 pearls. I think we're gonna have enough of that. I hope that's enough. Okay. No fire
Oh,
resist
fuck.
potions. Let's see, can we take
My
out this
fucking
box?
ham and
Did it
neck.
become buried? Where is it? I don't know where it is. Oh,
I
there
know
it
my
is.
neck. My neck is good, but my hand.
Perfect. Oh, I see a blaze. How do I get there? Oh, I'm just trying to get over to the fortress. Okay, I don't want to get smushed. Oh no. That's a big collapse. Come on. I got this.
Oh, okay.
No. Oh, I have no place for
I'm not sure how you
My
can shade in
fortress is
the
collapsing. How am I supposed
actual-
to find a spawner in this place? I hear another one. There we go. How come I can hear so many blazes? Oh, there it is.
I think I have an
How do I
idea.
stay safe. I can't block myself in. This is a disaster. Okay, I just made 15 doors. There we go. I've sort of made myself safe. Ah, no, I didn't have my shield. I still don't have my shield. What am I doing? Oh yes, I got a blaze rod. My inventory is so full. I guess I'm kind of safe here. It sounds like there's so many blazes. Come on, seriously? Oh yes. Yeah. Oh, this is working. It's actually working. Oh no. Yes, no blaze rods. Oh, oh, oh. He tried to come through the door. No, 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 no,
I think
no,
it's-
no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Yes! Let's see, can we get one more just in case the portal is empty? Oh, there goes my shield. There goes my shield. But we got 7. Let's see, can we figure out how to get out of here?
I'm not sure
There
the
sounds
shading
like
for the
there's so
shield
many.
yet. I'll figure something
I'm
out.
just gonna run this way to where the sounds stop. Oh, that was so loud. Can we sneak around this side without the... Oh no, the roof is gonna fall. Oh, I guess.
I'll see.
We
Oof.
got just the time. There it is. There's the portal. Oh, I see more blazes. Let's just go. Ah, run. Yes.
Alright, alright.
Yes. Oh, we did it.
Not sure about it.
We
Ooh.
did it. Okay,
I'm mainly
let's try
focusing
and
on the
find this
clothes.
struggled. If we'll even make...
Improv. Oh shit. Well, fuck. Yeah. Weird. Alright. You get this back over here. It. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Alright, there. Adjust this quick. There you go. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm just ending off stream now because a bit exhausted, a bit tired. OBS issues. Yeah, I understand. I have a shit ton of OBS issues here and then. Sometimes there's stream elements not really authenticating my account to stream on. To stream with. Yeah. It was very much a good stream. I'm happy. Shit. Sorry. I'm a rich cracker still. Let me save this real quick. There we go. But yeah. it was a good stream. And fuck. Where the fuck is my water bottle at? There it is. But yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with the progress I made for my art piece. I was mainly focusing on the shadows for the clothes first. I did a little bit of the head, hair, and stuff like that. But my main focus was the clothes because I knew it was gonna be a bit more technical than I would like. That would be comfortable with, but I gotta push out of my comfort zone eventually. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do the shadows for the shield yet, but I'm gonna be figuring something out. But yeah, I'm pretty much happy with how the art piece is turning out. And that being said, probably the rest of the night just gonna be relaxing. Probably have some dinner, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. That being said, well, it's a hologram. It wouldn't really have a shadow. Yeah, it wouldn't really have a shadow. Plus, the shading, the shadows and shading we did behind the hologram actually makes more sense. Plus, if I don't do like just a little bit of shading, it'll just look like it's still flat color. Or maybe I can figure out how to do like a glow around it. Maybe I can try to figure out a glow. Yeah, lightsabers do they cast like light around the reflections around them. Those reflections, wherever it hit, they probably, like, wherever object hits, probably a shadow goes behind it. It can appear behind it. The only thing I can think about that casts a shadow is the dark saber. One of those that's completely black with a white outline around it. So you need a glow, not a shadow. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking of a shadow, but I need a glow around the actual shield. That's something new that I'll be figuring out, but I'll be figuring it out for tomorrow's art stream. I did so when I was doing traditional art, so when I was doing traditional art, I did a similar thing with the actual battle suit that I made when I was younger, and it had it's similar to the one that I'm drawing right now, but the suit itself, the secondary complementary colors, those ones actually glow. I think you could still see it on my website, on my Wix website. It is a green yellow battle suit, and the yellow parts glow like bright. So I gotta figure that out for this one, for the shield. I know how to do it with traditional art, but for digital art, it's gonna be, I'm gonna have to learn that. I'm gonna learn how to do glow in digital art. And that being said, I think I'm just gonna be relaxing for the rest of the night. I'm probably hang out in VCs and whatnot. And that being said, thank you everyone for joining today's stream. My name is Brandon Blitz. I'm a variety streamer. I stream lots of video games, chat suggest me, as well as I draw art. I do coding. Hopefully sooner or later, I'll be streaming 3D modeling for everyone here. That being said, well, I'm not gonna. I almost forgot to say this. Also, thank you everyone for watching today's YouTube pod. And with that being said, I get going now, Blitzies. Bye bye, matinee.